1. Good morning. My name is Jasmina. I'm a doula and a childbirth educator, hopefully a postpartum educator to be. And I'm here with Julia. So for those of you who don't know you, and one of the purpose of this meeting is to introduce Croatia to newborn mothers. Julia is a revolutionary in the field of postpartum care. And she started out as an Ayurvedic postpartum doula, but has since integrated an Ayurveda and a neuroscience traditional postpartum care into a unique approach to mothers after birth. And now she has this amazing course and the community called Newborn Mothers Collective. And I discovered it and immediately fell in love with her work. And I believe you will too when you get to know her. So this was my little intro. How would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I love being called a revolutionary. That's cool. And it's definitely an area that needs revolutionizing. I think postpartum care, you know, and because I do work with students all over the world and nearly everywhere. We had someone in Malta the other day telling us about how they really need more doulas there. And everyone thinks that it's different in their country. You know, they'll say, oh, well, here in New Zealand and actually where I live in the UK and in Canada, it's like this. And every time I'm like, that's exactly what I'm hearing from everyone else. There's this huge gap in understanding and valuing and knowledge of postpartum care and how to support women through that transformation. And I really feel like we're paying the price because most of the mothers I talk to are exhausted and overwhelmed, and breastfeeding rates are low and depression rates are high, you know, and what we're doing just isn't working. So it definitely, a revolution is required.
Yeah, well, the question some doulas were asking is, how do I convert my birth clients to postpartum clients? Because there are no postpartum doulas in Croatia. Well, not at least not those that make a living only doing the postpartum work. And I know we'd all benefit from changing that. So maybe I'm using the sales language here, convert, but it's not as much about the sales as wanting to do meaningful work caring for newborn mothers. So there's a need, you said it, there's a need everywhere that's not recognized. But the pregnant woman and a newborn mother are two completely different persons. And usually they're always concerned about the birth and we'll take it easy after that. We'll handle everything. And it's not like that. They always wish they'd prepare more. So what's your advice? And do you think they would find the answer if they join the collective?
I hope so. I am very passionate about business and marketing, and I really believe that it's a critical part of our journey as doulas because, like you said, if these women are suffering. I just did a podcast interview, which will be up on the podcast in about a month or so, and with Ashley, who is another student in Newborn Mothers Collective. And Ashley's been doing some research, and she found that 85% of the mothers that she surveyed thought that they would have enough support. And actually 100% of the mothers that she surveyed didn't have enough support after the baby was born. So they're all these pregnant women thinking, I'll be all right. You know, people are going to help me. My husband's around, my mum's around. You know, I've got friends. But the thing is, in our culture, we don't understand the kind of support that newborn mothers need. It's not just cooking, cleaning, shopping. It's the entire emotional journey. It's being able to come out of the other side of postpartum a confident and strong mother. And instead, the way that we're doing things, we're churning out mothers who are broken. They're isolated and they're overwhelmed and they think that they're not capable of anything, you know. So that's clearly not what postpartum should be like. We should be preparing women for this transition. And so it is very important then that we get good at business and marketing. And like you said, although sometimes you might be listening to this going, oh, but that's yucky and that's dirty and we shouldn't be focused on money. But if we can't figure out how to sell this idea to pregnant women, then they are going to continue suffering alone. And that's just not good enough. So I think we have a responsibility to figure out how do we package this up to look really good, you know. And if you can sell anything. People sell useless stuff all the time. So we need to start using those techniques to sell something that really has the power to change the world. So yes, in the collective, we do talk a lot about business and marketing, as you know.
No, I knew the answer, but I wanted to hear it from you. I definitely, a New Mothers Collective was definitely helpful for me. And the mindset shift is just, I have some background in marketing, but I didn't have I didn't do that leap you're talking about in the beginning. The big leap, the book was amazing. And it helped me really professionally. After that, I decided to go my own way and open my doula business. So definitely, I think it helps. But
yes.
I wanted to hear from you also.
No, well, I love that story, because that's what I always tell people is it's 80% mindset. A lot of us know the strategies of business and marketing. You can just Google it and find out about how to market stuff. I mean, it's the same formula, whether you're selling, you know, an iPhone or you're selling postpartum care. There are just basic tactics that work. But the problem is the mindset. So many doulas believe that it's dirty to ask for money, that it's selfish and greedy, that we shouldn't be charging, you know, and the problem is if you don't charge money, people don't value it. Obstetric care is a lot more expensive than doula care. It's a lot more expensive than midwifery-led care. Does it provide better outcomes? You can answer that question for yourself. But the point is women choose it because they think they're getting the best result. And that is the society we live in, that people think if they spend money, then it's going to be good. So we have to kind of change our mindset so that we feel comfortable using those marketing and sales tactics for the power of good. And if all women started doing this, you know, we're so conditioned. Women don't even have pockets in our clothing to hold our coins, you know. It's so many subtle parts of conditioning of being a woman that make you think that you don't have the right to have money or ask for money. Or earn money, or that it's not worth money, or that it's greedy or selfish or whatever, you know. So there's so much conditioning. So like you said, you already knew some business and marketing stuff, but had never made that leap to be able to apply it to your postpartum work.
You said it so well. And you've been in this line of work for more than 10 years now. And I know you do a lot to change the perception of postpartum. And for example, I really, really love your blog, My 10K Postpartum, because it really shifts your perspective on priorities in life. So do you see change in your community? I know there's always room for improvement, but do some people think differently now? And are they're more open?
Yes, definitely. Even to the point, so 10 years ago, there was no one in my town even working really as a postpartum doula. There was no local training available. And the few birth doulas who were doing a little bit of postpartum work on the side were charging maybe $20 an hour. And when I started doing this work, I was really serious about it from the beginning. I was like, this has to happen. It's not acceptable that women aren't getting this care. I will find a way. And I'm very stubborn and determined. So I kept at it. And I launched my $3,000 postpartum package, and I sold one within 2 weeks. And then years and years later, so the way that I always teach people to market is by doing educational, it's called content marketing, but it's by doing educational work. So doing a lot of workshops and, you know, classes and sessions and things like that to educate people on the value of postpartum before you try and sell them anything, because there's no point selling something that people don't even know that they need. And over the years, I did so much of this content marketing, like on my blog, but also in real life in my town, that 5 years later or so, I would have people coming to me from other parts of my city saying, oh, well, it's all right for you, Julia. You can sell $3,000 packages because people in Fremantle care about postpartum. I was like, well, why do you think they care about postpartum? Because I've been shouting it for the rooftops for years and years and years, and it doesn't happen overnight, and you can do it too. So I think it's really important that we take responsibility. I mean, it's sad that we have to do this, that we have to educate people on this, that people don't understand it already. But I think we have to take responsibility that if no one's buying it, it's just because we haven't explained it to them in a way that they can understand.
We only started our postpartum workshops this summer, and hopefully they will continue.
Yes. And I did my workshops every single month for years and years, you know, so it's not something that happens overnight, and you do have to be determined, but it absolutely can change.
So there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
Even for us at the beginning. So I know this course is meant for doulas, midwives and birth workers, but I'd also say for mothers who want to go in depth and really kind of harvest this power of postpartum, Would you invite the moms to join us?
That's a really difficult question. There are some sort of technical things we go into in quite detail with the science and things in the course that I think if a mum is still really wanting to be in that gooey, mushy, intuitive, you know, in tune with her body, in tune with her baby kind of stage, that really embracing that baby brain, then perhaps some of the more technical and scientific statistics and data and that kind of stuff that we cover in the course is not going to be the best way for her to access this knowledge. So there is that barrier. Having said that, a lot of professionals who join do find that there's incredible healing that happens with their own postpartum experience, and also incredible change, because even if their babies are older, you know, they might have grown-up children and they kind of suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I really need to put these things into change, you know, to build my village and to ask for help and to have better boundaries and practice more self-care and all of that kind of stuff. So definitely people experience a very radical personal transformation as well. For mums specifically, I have written a book, and it's probably coming out in the next couple of months, and that is definitely more accessible for mums who are sleep deprived and tired. So yes, there's that avenue as well, and we've taken a little bit of the more complex kind of science and data out of it, so it's allows women to. Yes, I am too. It's been sitting on my desktop for months. I just need to actually publish it now. But it allows people to access this knowledge, but without really having to switch into that more masculine information kind of, mindset.
So then besides the Newborn Mothers Collective, what do you offer to the mothers that's available online worldwide? I know you have the blog, the podcast. If you could tell us about your offerings, then I can link them later after. Over time, I originally started with an online course for mums, and I have launched a few times different various online courses for mums. But in the end, what I've decided to do is make everything for mums available on my blog, on my podcast, on my Facebook page, and in my books. And so the course I'm keeping for professionals at this stage. So do you have anything to add? Or we covered, we talked about business, but we didn't say much about the Newborn Mothers Collective. So
yes.
Would you like to introduce it a bit now? I just realized we haven't said anything about the course material.
Yeah, so there are 6 modules on postpartum care in the collective, and one of them is about, the 7th one, the bonus one after you graduate, is about business and marketing. So it's definitely not mostly about business and marketing. It's mostly about postpartum. The first 2 modules are about baby brain, what I call baby brain, and some people go, oh, when I say that, and feel offended, you know, that I'm saying it in a derogatory way, but I'm not. What I mean by baby brain is that amazing transformation that women go through when they become mothers, and that change includes what I call learning and loving. So the learning changes are an increase in neuroplasticity, and the loving is an increase in oxytocin. And those 2 things mean that, women go through this amazing transformation. Their brains actually look different after childbirth, after that stage of their lives. And it's actually a computer algorithm that can look at brain scans and tell, just from looking at the brain scan, whether this is the brain of a mother or a non-mother. So, this is really a huge thing. And we talk about baby brain as being like ditzy or forgetful or, a bit stupid. But actually, it's a really radical and amazing transformation that's preparing women to be the most confident, capable, loving, strong mothers that they're designed to be. So we've got 2 modules about that. Obviously, I get pretty excited about baby brain. We have 1 module on traditional postpartum care. So we've got interviews with people from lots of different countries around the world. And when I really encourage everyone in the course and anyone listening to this now to dive into your own cultural heritage, because I guarantee that anthropologists have studied nearly 200 cultures around the world. That's nearly all of them, and found that they all have postpartum care rituals that have these really strong universal themes. So it's really amazing if you can find elders in your own family or even from your own kind of just ethnicity. So the people in my family, for example, didn't have this knowledge anymore, but I did have a midwife who was from the same part of England as my ancestors are from, and that was a really amazing way for me to reconnect with my own kind of lineage as a woman, and to be able to pass that forward. So we've got a whole module on that, which I also get really excited about. And then we have a module on Ayurveda, which is Indian traditional care. So we have a look at kind of the Eastern medicine perspective. We have the 5th module is about cooking. So we cover Ayurvedic nutrition. We also cover sort of the basics of like how to cook for clients, how to charge for it, whether you do it in their home or yours, and what this kind of safety and health stuff is. And then the last module is about different sorts of physical things like baby massage, self-massage and belly binding that are really common, you know, in different parts of the world when it comes to postpartum care. So that's the 6 modules. And then when you graduate, then you get the business and marketing one too.
Jela, do you have any questions? This is my colleague Jela. We're a team.
Yeah, hi. No,
Hi.
I really loved everything you said, and especially the thing about ancestors and the traditions here. It really needs to be local. I love that.
We have to explore that.
Yeah, I would love to know if you find anything from Croatia, because I know what happened throughout Europe, and I'm not sure if Croatia was so much a part of this, but was during the witch trials and the witch burnings, so much of women's knowledge was lost and undermined. But, you know, but often we can still find it, you know, if we just know the right places to look. And I think it's really important to revive that as part of this, you know, part of this revolution.
Because unfortunately, our grandmothers were those who gave birth and then went straight back to the field and to work.
Mm-hmm.
And they had consequences later, of course, health-wise.
Yeah.
Have to look elsewhere.
Yeah. No, it really is interesting. And if you do find anything from Croatia, do share it. I really love learning about different traditions around the world.
I will ask my grandmas, definitely.
Yeah, good.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I think you've covered it. It's a pleasure having you in the course, Jasmina. You've been a really great advocate for mothers and for this transformation and the support. So it's always a great pleasure to have students like you. And then if anyone is interested in joining Newborn Mothers Collective, enrollments are open only for about 2 or 3 more weeks now. So I'm just checking my calendar. They close on the 19th of September. So yes, if anyone's thinking about it, now is the time. And I'm sure Jasmina is going to put some links up for you with this recording, so you can click through and find out all the details.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
My pleasure. Thank you both for being here.
So see you in the collective.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.